Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. So what is it that you need to know right now for your audience? What are your clients looking for? How do they need you to show up? What are they willing to invest in? What's their unspoken requests that we need to be taking care of right now? Welcome to your National Guild of Hypnotists St. Louis chapter virtual meeting for August 4th, 2020. That was a freaking mouthload. Okay. Keep in mind, guys, this is a group activity that I am going to bring up certain things, and then I'm going to ask for the group genius. What do you see? What do you know? What do you want to add to it? Because it is not just one of us. It is all of us pulling together that makes our industry better than what it was yesterday. And the very first thing I want to start with is, what are clients willing to invest in right now? What do you think they're looking for? So I'm gonna open it up, and please, we want your ideas, we want your suggestions. What do you think your clients are looking for right now? What are they willing to invest in?
I'm not muted, right?
No, you're good.
I would say identity shifting, paradigm shifting, identity upgrading, and fear management.
Angie, oh my gosh, yes. Now tell us a little bit about that identity upgrading and the shift that you see taking place.
Well, I'm offering a 6-month program right now, and it's women's empowerment through difficult life transitions. And so that includes leaving a high demand religion. It includes divorce and the loss of a loved one. Those are the 3 main transitions. But right now, life is a transition. The whole world is a transition. Like, everything's in transition. And so for me, I'm talking about an identity shift. I'm talking about feeling more resilient to be able to handle just the roller coasters of emotions and the confusion and, all the different information that we're being bombarded with, and like who to believe, and, there's so much dissension and division, and it's like, well, where do we land? And so to me, that identity shift is, how can I be loyal to myself? Like, how can I not abandon me during this very turbulent time? I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yes, and I think it gave an awful lot for everybody else that's in attendance to be able to think about. By the way, I do share these recordings on my podcast, so Angie, give us your name and your contact information if somebody listening to this goes, I want what she's got.
Angie Monco, Monko, and my business is Harmony Harbor. And my contact information, harmonyharbor.com. Should I spell that? Do I need to? HARMONY, Harbor, HARBOR.com. And Angie at harmonyharbor.com. ANGIE is real easy. Phone number, should I give them that?
Yeah, give them the phone number, Angie.
314-422-6520.
All right. So what else is whether you're coming with a different idea than what Angie had, or you're playing off what she has already presented, what else are you all seeing happening in your business, or what do you feel that your clients are willing to invest in right now?
I think I can go if you can hear me. I think you guys can see me now too. So
Yes.
excellent. Honestly, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Angie said, but right now things are just, it's scary for a lot of people, but definitely stressful for everyone. And I think honestly, a lot of people that I've been talking to are looking for basic quality of life, quality of life increase, because there's a lot of stress going around. There's a lot of uncertainty. That's kind of the thing I'm getting a lot from my clients is the uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen next year. We're going to get to go back to what we were doing. So bringing them a little certainty in their personal life, something that they can count on, something that they can feel like they have a little control over. So I think that's what I've gotten from people I've spoken with.
And Rachel, your contact information in case somebody wants that quality of life increase, they want that certainty, how they reaching out to you?
Well, you can go to my, you can send me an email. First of all, it's heffnerhypnosis@gmail.com, and that's HEFFNER with 2 F's in Friday. Or you can go to heffnerhypnosis.com, and on there I have a link to my YouTube channel where I have some free, modified hypnosis sessions, about 10, 15 minutes. Or you can go to my Twitch channel where I'm live streaming free sessions.
Sweet. Okay. What else is out there as far as, do you want to add on to this? Are you seeing something different or parallel? The floor is open, guys. Okay. Eric, what do you got?
I think people are willing to pay for the same things that they've always been willing to pay for, such as smoking cessation and weight reduction. But I do see more and more people being concerned about controlling their anxiety, stress reduction, and state of mind type of matters. And my name is Eric Banks. My email address is imagerelations@gmail.com. And my cell phone number is 314-583-7075.
Man, he is just to the point. Eric's got it going on. Yeah. Anyone else want to add on to what they think clients are willing to pay for? By the way, Eric, that was brilliant as far as they're always willing to do behavioral modification with the smoking and the weight. But yet the state of mind is so necessary right now. Anyone else have anything that they want to add on? So this is what I would like all of you to think about. And it ties into everything that was said. To be a leader, you must do 4 things. And you must do them in this order. By the way, this isn't me saying this. This is the psychology of identity upgrades. People a whole hoopin' bunch smarter than me came up with this. First, you must bring certainty to an environment where there is not any. Second, and only after that certainty is created, is there freedom of choices. A leader will always give choices. And as leaders, we have to be able to have our clients say no to us. We have to give them that option, maybe I'm not the right fit for you. But only after we've created the certainty, and the certainty is not, what do you want to buy? The certainty is what's going on that you need to upgrade. What's your identity? What's the resiliency pointing to? So first there's certainty. After certainty, then there is going to be freedom of choices. After we, as their leader, have created freedom of choices, now we can introduce worthiness. But only after they have the ability to say, no, they don't want to be worthy. And then after that, validation. Validation is, yes, life is hard. You know what? It's even harder when you're stupid. And what makes people stupid? thinking they can do it on their own. Thinking that I just read another book, I watch another video, I listen to another podcast, and I've got this. No, you don't. The reason why our clients have challenges is because they were wounded, they were hurt by somebody else. There was someone else who let them down, abandoned them, rejected them, had them feel like they weren't good enough or that there just wasn't enough in life. They need somebody else to be able to upgrade their identity. They cannot do it on their own. Guess what? We can't do it on our own either. This is the reason why we get together every month, to support each other and come up with these ideas. Okay, so your job as a leader is to bring certainty to an environment that they do not have by utilizing hypnosis and bringing them out at their very best, their strengths, talents, and abilities. It's the resilience. It's the quality of life. It is controlling their anxiety and stress. It is their state of mind. So my question for you is, how do you now create certainty for someone? They call you and they go, yeah, I'm thinking about utilizing hypnosis. What are you saying to them that is creating that certainty? Think about what it is you're doing. And what are you saying to them that is already giving them a level of certainty? What do you guys think?
I would say, honestly, assuring them that hypnosis, if they were to do a session with me, that hypnosis in that session, we could give them control. We could give them, and if they don't believe that they will have that control, I give them my confidence, let them borrow my confidence for a while until they have some of their own. So kind of reassuring them they're going to have control after this session.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Remember, plagiarism is stealing from one person. It's research when you steal from many, okay? Okay, so letting them know that you're going to give them control. Angie.
What was coming to me was to say that, we cannot control the things that are going on around us. We've never been able to do that with people and the events of the world right now. But what I can give them is confidence in their ability to perceive life in a way that they can feel safe, regardless of external circumstances.
Ideal.
What?
That's ideal. That's it right there.
Just a perception that they're okay despite everything going on around them.
Yes. Any other suggestions or ideas on that initial conversation to how to create certainty for your potential client? Anybody else? Jump right on in. Okay, so yes, the triggers aren't going to go away, are they? The election is not going to go away. COVID, not going to go away. The husband who's the lump on the couch, not helping her with everything she's got going on, is not going to go away. The wife that is spending excessive amounts of money and he is freaked out is not going to go away. The social anxiety, I had a doctor that we get together every weekend, and there's a group of us, and we watch Dateline, of all things. And we're picking up the subconscious clues that different people are giving off. So we're reading micro expressions on the face, and we're doing all this investigation. But anyway, I was asking her just this past weekend as far as going back to school, and what do you think about that? And she said there's pros and cons all the way around, but here's the challenge. The longer we keep these kids out of a group of their peers, the harder it's going to be to overcome that social anxiety they're going to have as adults. And the situation isn't going to go away. It's not. So how do we then help them manage those triggers? That's how you're bringing certainty, and you guys have got that. So remember that this is what we want to do, is we want to be able to give them a level of certainty. That's the first thing that has to be created before they will feel secure enough to hear anything else you say. So I'm going to close out this portion with this thought. If you are not predicting your clients' challenges 30 to 90 days down the road, you are going to be in big trouble with your business. If you're current with what they're experiencing right now, you're already behind. You need to be looking at where they're going, where they're going to be in another month if they don't get this resolved. And that's what you need to be talking about right now. So one of the other things that I said we were going to talk about today is why your business could get really quiet this fall if you do not take action now. Why do you think things in the self-help, self-improvement, self-development arena could get quieter than normal? Average, normal, there's no such thing as that anymore. Why do you think it could get quieter? What do you think might be going on that could cause that?
Distraction. I mean, distraction from the election and everything else. I mean, things are heating up so much, and it's just going to pull them away from their center.
Oh, tell us a little bit more about that, Angie, about people being pulled away from their center.
It's the drama need, right? The ego need of the drama, which the squirrel syndrome, I mean, oh my gosh, like I'm so bombarded with emails. It's my own doing. But when we're distracted by everything out there, it's hard to slow down. It's hard to do self-hypnosis or anything that's going to bring us back because we don't want to feel what we're feeling.
So, and that leads me to a question for the group. Why would we allow ourselves to be distracted? If we know what we should be doing, why do we allow ourselves to be pulled off center? Why do our clients allow themselves to get distracted?
Because it's easier. It's easier. It's by default. I mean, it's more difficult to actually focus inward, especially when there's so much going on outside.
Any other ideas? Yes, Rachel, you're correct. Any other ideas on why it's so easy to allow ourselves to be distracted?
Decision exhaustion. There's too many decisions to make, so you just stop.
Christy, great job. Decision exhaustion. Christy, does that typically happen to what would be somebody considered as an employee, a manager, or a leader?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase? Can you one more time?
Sure. So if you've got somebody working in corporate, who do you think typically experiences decision exhaustion more? The employee, the manager, or the leader of the company?
I would say the manager.
Keep in mind, guys, managers spend a tremendous amount of their day not managing people. They're managing the emotional states of their people. Trying to get them pumped up, get them all going in the same direction. It's like herding cats. So you will have the employee that is going to have a tremendous amount of decision exhaustion because they can't figure out how to get ahead right now. You've got the manager who's going to have a tremendous amount of decision exhaustion because of trying to get everybody moved together in a group. The leader is going to have a tremendous amount of decision exhaustion because of everyone that they are responsible for. So if I were to ask you, and Christy has opened this up in a phenomenal direction. If I were to ask you to do a presentation for first responders, one is going to be for firefighters and the other one is going to be for police. Who do you think has more stress in their life?
First responders.
First
of those two?
Of those two groups, yes.
I would say police, because they're under a lot more scrutiny than firefighters, I would say, because firefighters are generally viewed as heroes, whereas police, it kind of sometimes depends on what side you stand on, but also, like their actions now they're on, everyone's wearing cameras, everyone's got cameras. So everything that they do is going to be judged by somebody.
Good point. If you were to be presenting corporate and you would be presenting to the employees separately from the managers, separately from the leaders of the company, who do you think is going to have more stress?
I mean, just a minute ago, you were saying how they all have exhaustion, decision exhaustion, right? So it's like, I mean, to me, my first thought was the leader because they're responsible for so much more, but yet the others are more in the weeds, perhaps. So like you said, it's just a different vantage point. So they're all under different kinds of stress.
That's it right there. It's whoever we're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who are going to have, if you were to talk to cops and go, how much stress are you under versus firefighters? They're going to go, oh my gosh, no contest there. But if you talk to firefighters versus cops, they're going to be going, no, hands down, because of the extreme situations we find ourselves in by ourselves, maybe just with one other partner in a burning building. You talk to the employee and they're like, oh my gosh, the stress I'm under is because of I keep the company going. Without me, they can't go anywhere. The manager's going, oh, do you know what it's like to herd these cats? Mm-hmm. And then you've got the leader going, without me putting my neck on the line, everybody is going to be out of employment. Mm-hmm. So keep in mind, it's whoever you're talking to because it is their perception. Their perception is their reality. So why would they want to distract themselves from that reality? I think Rachel said it. It's that it hurts too much.
Painful, right?
Yeah. So it is easy to allow ourselves to get caught up in the election, posting things on social media that we know are going to tick off other people. We know it. And we put something out there because it's a great distraction. When we have pain that does not have a purpose, we will do whatever we can to distract ourselves. So if you could assist someone by calling them out on how they're going to distract themselves, how would that look in your marketing? What do you think?
How would you call them out is what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, identify the situation that they're going through, the feelings that they're going through, and not to place shame or judgment on them, but it's just a way of coping, just to explain that, are you feeling distracted by everything going on around you? And it's so easy to turn to food or, I don't know, alcohol or fighting with your spouse or whatever it is, the whole pain without purpose thing. I've never really thought about that too much, and how that can draw somebody in. Just meet them where they're at.
Meet them where they're at. You're right, Angie. And then let them know what they will continue to do to keep in that place.
Right.
That we know that they're going to distract themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That they're going to go, I'm going to wait till the economy calms down. I'm going to wait till maybe the election is over with. I'm going to wait to maybe that there isn't as much money needed, whatever it might be. We need to let them know that that is how they will subconsciously sabotage themselves.
Right.
Because they're using the distractions. Angie, you said it. They're using the distractions to not face what they've got going on right now. Well, here's the thing. After the election, there's going to be another distraction.
Right. Right.
And that because the subconscious mind only has two types of neural pathways: pain avoidance or progress producing. And if they get caught up in the pain avoidance, well, as soon as things start leveling out, they're going to find something else to cause them a problem. And then they get addicted to being a hot mess. So we need to be calling them out now, because historically, it is accurate that the self-improvement, self-development industry will take a hit the 90 days before an election.
Mm.
So you need to be telling people now, I get it, but it's not going to go away. If you avoid handling what you've got going on right now, what you're really doing is you're conditioning your subconscious mind to find all the things in your environment that are going to trigger you into avoidant behaviors. And once the subconscious mind starts heading a certain direction, it likes to pick up speed. So right now you're in avoidance. Come December, because you will have done an identity upgrade for 3 months, now your life is going to be literally falling down around you. And it's up to us to let them know they've got a choice. They can wait. They can choose someone else. But that we know what they'll do to keep themselves from progress. Because those triggers, that pain that we talked about at the very beginning, does not have a purpose. So what are you guys thinking on that? What's the thoughts that was rolling through your mind?
I know I'm talking a lot, but I feel like I need to. I think it's really smart what you're saying, and I think I'm experiencing it firsthand. With last, can I just share a story about this? Is this
Yeah, please.
I have felt pretty much invisible on social media, like on Facebook. I really do. I'll post something and I won't get likes or whatever, and I'm like, whatever. So I'm invisible. I can post whatever I want. Well, anyway, last Wednesday, I got a post that I shared, and it doesn't even matter what it was, but I shared it because I thought it would help people, give them hope about COVID, and maybe there's a cure for that, okay? And, I got a lot of response to it. I got a lot of response, a lot.
So much for being invisible.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm like, whoa, what just happened here, you know? But one of my major clients, their daughter made a comment on it, you know, and so the day after that, this client that I've had, which is a family for 7 years, told me they didn't want to work with me because after seeing that post, I was being anti-Semitic. And I'm telling you what, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry, language.
No.
I've had a really hard time these last few days, you know, because it's not who I am at all, right?
No.
I was coming from a place of helping. So what's scary about social media and everything that's going on, like, I mean, this was a major blow to my income. That's provided some safety, stability. And I know I needed to shake it up, but I'm still, it's difficult, you know, and like, I need to be who I am. I'm not going to lie. Right. Like so if you have any words of advice or wisdom about that, I'm also not going to try to force any client to believe how I believe. Like, you can believe how you believe. That's not my thing. You know, it's just like, but let me feel safe enough in having my own beliefs that you're not going to leave just because I have a belief system, you know, that doesn't identically match up with yours.
So I'm going to give just a couple of snippets, some insight on it. And you know, Angie, if you need to talk to anybody, reach out to me. Okay. We've all heard the phrase cancel culture.
No, I haven't. Cancel culture?
Cancel culture. Yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Cancel culture is when you're expressing yourself and someone doesn't agree, but they're under such duress with everything that they're experiencing, they step down from leadership into emotional management. And when you're an emotional manager, remember how I said the idea is to get everybody going in the same direction. When you're an emotional manager, everybody has to believe the same way. This is not a true leader. A true leader gives freedom of choices.
Right.
So cancel culture is a term that was picked up based on the riots, not protests, based on the riots, based on some things that happened in Hollywood, based with certain authors. And it is when someone expresses their identity and the receiver says, you don't believe the way I do, I must manage everything in my environment. You cannot be managed. You need to be canceled.
Right. Yep.
Okay, that just goes to show how far out of emotional control people are right now and what they're experiencing.
They said I wasn't worried enough about COVID, that I wasn't taking it seriously, you know, because I'm not in a ton of fear about it. But the thing is, I can't help people from a place of fear.
Exactly. So that just, it gives you insight to what they're experiencing.
Right.
Okay. But now we're seeing it go a step further. Remember how I said just a few minutes ago that once the subconscious mind starts going down a group of neural pathways, that either progress or pain avoidance, there's no in between. That once it starts heading that direction, it picks up steam. Mm-hmm. So what we're seeing now on the cancel culture is not just, you don't believe the way I do, you need to be canceled, but they're taking it a step further and they're saying you need to be punished.
Yes, yes.
And the punishment is based on the fact, and this is where it gets kind of scary, and we've got people doing this that we would never ever think that they would do it. And for those of us who actually received a complete history in school, not just bits and pieces, this will sound familiar. They are punishing people who do not think the way they do because they are beginning to adopt a mindset without realizing it, that they are pure and that those are not, who are not, need to be punished. We saw this in World War II with Germany.
I know.
Okay? For some people, that's how far it's gone. They don't realize subconsciously this is what's happening. But when you see it go past the point of going, oh, we've got a disagreement, into we've got a disagreement, I don't even want to hear your side, you need to be canceled. Oh, we've got a disagreement, I don't want to even hear your side, you need to be canceled. And now I need to vilify you and punish you.
To justify it. in their mind.
Yes. That's what we're experiencing. I'm only sharing this with you so you have an understanding of the process that they're going through when they do these things.
Mm-hmm. I know it's not personal, but it still really hurts.
Yes, it does. And whenever you have a blow to the income like that, it puts you now in a state of uncertainty.
Right.
And that's what people will do. They will always look to hit you in income first, because we have two places of certainty, our checkbook and our calendar. If I want to see what you're really wanting in life, those are the two places I go to. I look at your last 90 days of your checkbook and your calendar, and I'll be able to see what you're certain of in life.
Mm-hmm.
So when they take away certainty for someone else, they take away the paycheck, and they take away, I won't spend any time with you. So Angie, I don't have a solution for what you experienced. I'm just giving you some insight on what we're seeing begin to run rampant through our culture right now, which is the old adage. It goes back to, pull the 2x4 out of your own eye before you go looking for the splinter in someone else's. We can be out there, we're assisting others, they take offense at it, they're going to want to shut us down. Okay. And then we're going, like you said, Angie, I still need to be me. I need to express who I am. I need to be talking to the leaders, not the emotional managers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're not as invisible as you thought you were. Anybody else have any suggestions or comments for Angie on this? Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to back up what Angie said. You've still got to be you. You still have to have enough leadership to say, my business is not dependent upon any person. It's not dependent on one income stream. If that goes down, I'm a leader. I'm going to create certainty for myself. I'm going to find another one. And real quick, I'm going to give you some psychological studies, just real quick, and then we'll move into the final question. All right, so they decided to do this study where they were having men call women or women call men, not where they could see them virtually, just where they could hear them. And they were going to be introducing themselves to the opposite sex and asking them some questions under the pretense, I believe, of a dating service. It was a psychological study. They had no clue. All right. And so they were given a picture of what they thought the person looked like that they were going to be talking to. Okay? And that picture was of somebody that looked like a hot mess. No other way to put it, okay? Now, we can look at someone visually. This is the reason why over 60% of all communication is nonverbal. We can look at somebody and we can tell if they got their act together. I mean, did it look like they've showered today? Are they dressed in something that it doesn't look like they slept all night in it? Okay. Did they do something with their hair? No offense, Eric. Okay.
None taken.
Eric and I have such a wonderful relationship. Okay. So they're asking questions, but they've already got an idea visually of what that person looks like. So Christy, I'm going to ask you, if you think somebody looks like a hot mess, how do you think you might talk to them on the phone?
I'd be nice, but I wouldn't want to lead him into thinking I'd want to date him.
You are so right. By the way, Christy, you happen to be, for those that are going to be listening to this on the podcast, you happen to be the one that did the hypnosis session for them last weekend. I posted it. Can you go ahead and give your contact information again?
Sure. My name is Kristen Ward, and you can contact me, either call me or text the word consult to 314-494-7058.
Thank you. Okay, so Christy's right. You're not going to lead this person on like you actually want to work with them. The conversation was being recorded. Here's where it gets interesting. So, the woman's asking the guy some questions, but she's asking him questions that would be a little bit more dumbed down because she already knows she's not interested. They're recording it. Now, the person that Christy is talking to happens to be a very well put together man. He's got his stuff going on. It probably would have been somebody that Christy wanted to date, but that's not the picture she was given. But she's talking to him because she's already got it mentally that I don't want to be engaged with this person. The researchers went back and they listened just to his side of the recording. They didn't listen to the questions that were asked of him. They just listened to him. And then they had to give an accounting of how put together they thought this guy was. What do you think they came up with? The guy was a hot mess. Wait, he was an executive. This was done again and again and again. High-level executives knew their stuff, and yet their answers to the questions that she was asking were dumbed down and in some places stupid. And they're going, why is that? Because the woman talking to them had an expectation that this person was somebody they wanted to avoid, which fired off the mirror neurons in the receiver's brain that said, I should be responding as somebody that should be ignored. They didn't fight the expectation. They went along with it. This was discovered decades ago. There's a name for it. It's known as the Pygmalion effect. A teacher was given a group of students that were actually the worst in the school district, the entire school district. And she was told at the beginning of the year, they're a handful because they are so smart, they get bored. That was not what these children were. Guess where they finished at the end of the year? Top in the entire school district because of the expectations on the part of the teacher. So when we have somebody that comes after us with cancel culture, guess what? It fires off our neurons that we should be canceled, that we should have guilt, that we should have shame, that we should be punished. Oh my gosh. And as leaders, it is up to us to recognize this and go, no, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
Because we will respond what they think. It also lets you know that whenever you're talking to that client, first time on the phone, you better see them as a high achiever. They just don't know how to get there. Because if you perceive them as a hot mess, they are going to respond as a hot mess. Now, there have been times whenever I've given potential clients a project, something to do, and I say, you know what, you do this for 7 days, call me back, we'll discuss whether or not I should take you on. If you can't do this activity every single day for 7 days, I am not the hypnotist for you, because I am trying to activate those leadership mirror neurons. And if they won't allow it to be enacted, I don't do well with drama, and that's what they're going to be. Okay, I'm talking a whole hoop and bunch on this.
Good.
Jump in, guys. What are you thinking? What's going through your minds?
good stuff. I really love it. The Pygmalion effect. So do you have something with this study or link or anything like that you could share?
All you have to do is Google Pygmalion effect. Google Pygmalion effect Israeli soldiers and see the study that comes up.
Okay.
Their elite special forces are going in for special, I believe it was sniper training. Mm-hmm. Now, these are the elite level guys. These are already tops. Mm-hmm. And the commander of the base, that they picked out either 3 or 5 guys at random and told the commander of the base, by the way, do you realize that the 3 guys that are in this new group have better skills than we've seen out of anybody that's ever hit elite special forces? What do you think happened to those 3 guys at the end of their training?
They accelerated. They were progressed. And
they fit the expectation that was bogus that was given to the commander of the base, because he treated them differently than everybody else.
So in essence, you're saying that as a coach or a hypnotist or whatever, we need to believe in our clients and truly, really feel it, because if we don't, it's going to affect them in a way, right? I mean,
that's it. What Rachel said, if you don't have the confidence, borrow mine until you can develop your own.
Right.
And if you don't believe that they can go there, don't take them on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I think that's an important point you just made, Dawn, because there's so many times that somebody has come to me with some challenge and I didn't think that they would be successful. And, you know, that was the early years of being a hypnotist. So I would still take them on, forgetting that point that, oh, I don't think they can succeed. And guess what? They didn't at the end, because I had this expectation and I no doubt treated them that certain way. Whereas the other clients that I'm like, oh, I know this person's going to kill it. They're going to be awesome. And then they do, because I have that expectation. It's all subconscious when I'm talking to them, you know, that I just think that they're going to be the high achiever and they're going to, you know, what is it that you guys taught us in the certification course? What you expect will be realized. And that is so true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Angie, just Google the Pygmalion effect. There's a lot of things out there. Eric, what do you want to add?
I agree with all of this, and this is an example of why my favorite subspecialty in hypnosis is conversational hypnosis, or hypnosis without the induction, which I try to practice on somebody every day.
Yeah. So what are you doing when you're trying to practice it on them? What is the end result you want out of that, Eric?
Being the Machiavellian draconian person that I am, the end result that I want is I want to become who I'm trying to help them to become. So my lay ministry is one of self-empowerment. So if I tell enough other people how great they are, then maybe eventually I'll start believing I'm great myself.
Yeah, we just need to be the level above them. That's all we need. Just one step up. That's it. Okay. So the final thing that I wanted to touch on today, hypnotic prescriptions that work best when you're working with clients online. I happen to use Zoom, just like what we're using right now, for all of my sessions. All of my training is now online. The NGH approved all of it to go online. I am not seeing anybody in person. It does bother me to have that office equal to a house payment sitting there empty for months on top of months. But I don't feel I have the capability to keep people safe, you know, when we're working with them. So everything's online. Now, when you work with somebody online, it's going to be a little different than working with them in person. You're going to have to be able to bring about, out of the hypnotic phenomena, we have 3 levels. We have fantasy, we have amnesia, we have progress set. You will find somebody, each person it leans more into one of those areas. When we're working with them virtually and they cannot pick up on our emotional energy because they're within the 3 feet around us, we're going to have to use more of our voice capabilities to bring about that fantasy experience. Progress set is when you're giving them direct suggestions. Amnesia set, these are the people that just really like to avoid things so we can have them forget that they're a failure. They're interesting to work with. I mean, if you're going to forget something, forget that you're screwing your life up, okay? The fantasy set are going to be the ones that build the castles in the air, have a challenge, taking action, because it's a great internal experience, but they're going to need to rely on you more than ever for that plan of action steps afterwards to turn that fantasy into a reality. But we're going to have to lean a little bit more on fantasy during the hypnotic prescriptions to get more of an engagement with the subconscious mind, even if they're not fantasy set on hypnotic phenomena. So that means telling more stories, getting more involved in the details, embellishing more. Because I know that our industry does have a predisposition to attract people that would be considered progress set. Here's my goal, here's my dream, here's my desire, here's my plan, I'm going to put it together, let's go for it. I'm going to find ways that, when things don't turn out right, to make it still work for me. And we're not so much on fantasy. But yet we're going to have to imbue that even more in our hypnotic prescriptions because our clients can't pick up that emotional energy because they're not in the room with us. So, what are some of your favorite hypnotic prescriptions? Just giving a quick description of maybe some of the things that you're using, because we don't want to step on anybody's toes and their trademark abilities. But what are some of your favorite hypnotic prescriptions, a description of them that you like to use that would be considered more fantasy set?
I always think nature is the best, for me. People seem to respond to nature and any kind of fantasy and taking them deep into a, lush state, I guess, that you can find in nature.
Christy, you just nailed it. You got it. Nature. It's going to be something outside. Why do you think, and Christy, why do you think, or anybody that might want to jump in, why do you think people respond so much better when we place them into an outdoor environment internally?
There are less constrictions. If you're outdoor, your mind is usually, your mindset is more wide. You're not as focused on a detail. You're kind of taking in the nature and hearing birds and clouds and such of that. So you're not, unless a tiger's chasing you, that's a whole other issue. But I guess that's nature too. But everything, when people want to go on vacation to relax, you head outside, right?
Yes, Maslow proved that activates self-actualization. And Christy, you couldn't see it, but Rachel was laughing because she understands that tiger reference, okay? Yes, the expansion. And let me ask you this, guys. If you're going to think about things growing, do you think about it happening inside or outside? Outside. So growth and development and expansion and feeling good. It's all located outside, isn't it? So even if you were to use something like the deepener that Drew wrote, where you're sitting in front of a beautiful picture window and you're watching the snow come down gently, covering the evergreens. And as it falls down, 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 you go deeper down, down into relaxation. Even something like that can work because nature is still involved. So get them into an environment where they thrive. And then that's, the question for you to think about. Where do you need to be in order to thrive? When you're coming up with your solutions, when you're coming up with where that next client or group of clients needs to be, are you sitting in your chair in your office coming up with it? Or have you taken yourself to an experience? We all want to go on vacation with Christy right now, to an experience that's lush. I like that word, lush. Yes. Okay. So any questions or comments on that as we begin to wrap up?
I actually do have one comment. With you talking about all this, I write new inductions every week for my stream, and I'm always taking people outside, wherever it is, whether it's a resort in the middle of the forest or a mountain resort or like something, just laying in a field looking at the clouds dissipating and stars behind them or something beautiful like that. And I write new sessions every week, and I'm actually thinking about eventually putting them all in a book and publishing that. But for the time being, if anybody's interested in any of those nature, I'm happy to share scripts with other hypnotists. So if you want to get in touch with me, I am very happy to send those along while they're still free. And I have a YouTube channel. You can check them out, maybe listen to some of them, see, I like this one, I don't like that one so much. Let me know. Please feel free to reach out to me because I want to share anything that's going to help a vast majority of people. So
and please quickly publish that book.
Because Eric wants to pay for it.
You're right.
Okay, he wants to pay you what you're worth. All right. So as we begin to conclude, I would just love to hear one of your ahas that you took from today on something that you feel is going to assist you assisting others. So one of your ahas.
I'll share a couple things. I want to say thank you to Rachel because she did send me your inductions and I've used them very regularly.
Oh, wow.
If you have more, I would love more if you said you're doing them weekly. So thank you.
Cool.
For what I learned today. This was real. I knew I needed to be on this call. Like I just knew it. And thank you so much. And so the thing about it is I noticed since COVID that as the months progressed where I didn't see my clients and I wasn't able to give them a hug, and it was sort of a connection thing, right? That some of them were slipping a bit into the fear mode. And I was noticing this. And I think that as I was noticing everything play out on the world screen of what's going on, that I was getting into fear too, like some confusion of where do I land with this, and so maybe I started having some doubts in them, and I want to own that for myself because like you were saying, the Pygmalion effect. So that whole Pygmalion effect, I want to take responsibility, and I'm going to make this shift in how I'm seeing them, that they're fully capable, and that because they were saying like, we'll check in after the election, that was what the thing was, so just that there's that need to be punished, and that just there's so much here. So I just have so many takeaways, and thank you. I'm so grateful.
Who else has an aha?
I do. At one point you were talking about looking at the future for clients, and kind of putting them, future pacing essentially, but putting them in the future where things are better. And I can't remember how we got off on that subject, but I have a smoking client that I'm seeing this weekend, and it really just it materialized these old memories from the certification course I took in 2014 with you guys. And one of the things I remember you guys saying is if somebody's doing a smoking cessation, to have them avoid alcohol for maybe 2-3 weeks or something after, just because that's really going to help. And And it's just, that was that aha moment. And it's like, I had totally forgotten about that. And I've done smoking cessations where I didn't even do that because I forgot. But you saying, hey, you got to, remember, focus on the future, how it's going to be, that kind of thing. And it reminded me of that. And I'm really excited about that because I can't wait to do the session on Saturday. And now I'm like, yeah, what else can I future pace for her? And it just kind of re-energized that. So thank you. So that was my aha.
Excellent. Anybody else have an aha they want to share?
Well, I'll share. I'm just getting into this. I did the training kind of a long time ago now, last November. However, a lot of things came up for me personally, and I'm jumping into the arena.
Yes.
So all of it was kind of like an aha. However, definitely what people have said about having the expectations of their success in our mind. Wow, that's so important, just in everyday life. But also that that people, I have to give them a certain level of certainty before they can really hear what I have to say. And so I don't know exactly what that's going to look like in the conversation, but once I say that that's what I want to do, then of course things are going to download for me. So that's a really good place to start, so I can start to talk to people, knowing that I really need to receive that moment where they feel confident. So thanks.
So Diana, how would someone get in touch with you if they wanted to see about having that certainty conversation with you?
Well, they could call me at 773-551-8225, or they could email The Art of Smart Talk. Oh, that's Diana at theartofsmarttalk.com.
Excellent. All right. Any other ahas that anybody wants to share?
Cancel culture actually helped me understand a little bit more of what's going on. So that's one aha. But the other one was the certainty, just to echo the other comments, the certainty of making sure when you're having conversations with potential clients or even your current clients, to give them that certainty that they're obviously seeking. I think that we're all seeking. So, and to also give it to ourselves as hypnotists. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks.
All right.
Well, I thought the whole program was great. Thank you very much for pulling us together, Don. And my greatest aha moment is basically that people rise to the level that is expected of them. So if you want somebody to be great, treat them like they're great.
There you go. Until they prove to you otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. Don't be a doormat.
Exactly. When I met Drew, and I'm leaving, he and I were working for the same company, and he interviewed me, and we were leaving the building together, and he held the door open for me, and I was like, I can get my own door, thank you. And he goes, you need to know, I treat a lady like a lady until she proves to me she's just a woman.
Wow, I'm going to plagiarize that one.
Me too.
but yeah, it had me think, wow, what's the difference? I will treat someone as great until they prove to me they want to be a hot mess. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. These are so much fun whenever I'm here with you guys. Yeah. And look forward to sending you out the email for those of you who need to download this, also putting it up on the podcast. Please, whoever's listening to this, reach out to these people if any of them resonated with you. And I look forward to seeing all of you next month on the first Tuesday of the month. Okay?
Thank you, Dawn.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.